and welcome to FIFA Statement Live. Thank you very much for joining me today, and this is also a joint effort for FIFA Statement Live and my other channel, The Broken Mile. I'm going to be releasing this video on both channels due to its content. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we are talking about, of course, what everybody else is talking about in the world, ever, which is the European Super League and the Super Six, or the six breakaway greedy gits, as I like to call them. I want to talk to you about it. I want to put my feelings across on it. I've had 48 hours now of watching what's going on and gathering the information, foraging the information, so I understand what is happening. I wanted to see if in the first 24 hours maybe they started backing down and realizing it was a really bad idea, like the rest of us in the world knew it was a bad idea or know it's a bad idea. You hope that some will come to sense and kind of back down. It doesn't seem to be happening, so yeah, I think now's a good time to talk about it. I want to talk to you about it as a football fan and what I think it means and some of my ideas, but I also want to talk to you as a advocate for mental health and a guy who champions it. Due to the channel that I've obviously got, FIFA Save My Life, I give 50% of my profits to charity. I'll give them to Mind, the charity for mental health and well-being, but also obviously on The Broken Mile I talk just solely about mental health, and that channel is listed down below, and you will see it if you're not watching The Broken Mile. You will see it on there, and that is a channel I just talk about mental health with and my thoughts on mental health, due to the fact that I do suffer from mental health. I have depression, I have anxiety, I have bipolar, I have a headache, I have all sorts of stuff. I have a headache, I feel kind of qualified to be able to talk about it, and I'm worried from the standpoint of mental health. I've seen quite a few tweets recently that alarm me a little bit and actually kind of ring true, so I'm going to talk to you about those as well. So let's start with the Super League. Let's talk about the facts and figures and what it is. I'm very usually anti-Carragher and Gary Neville. I salute you at this moment in time. You are talking complete sense, and I love the fact that you're talking out against it. I really do. I think you've been very strong in your opinions on it, and quite rightly so, in saying what really the fans think. Very much echoing my thoughts on it. That's a dead certainty, and condemning the six greedy clubs that are trying to break away and ruin football forever. What does it mean? Well, as an Everton fan, I'm very, very proud that as an Everton fan we're either not taking part in it or we weren't asked to take part in it. I could not be more pleased with that, because I would be devastated. I don't think for a second Everton would. We're very much the people's club. The current owners, Ken Wright and Marshy, both are very community orientated. They understand they are custodians temporarily of the club, and they have a duty of care not just to the club to take it forward if possible, but they also have a duty of care to the community and to the fans alike, and they are very entrenched in the history and the ideals of the club and the fans. So I don't think for a second Everton would have been interested if they were asked, and I don't think for a second they would be asked at this moment in time, because Everton aren't rich enough, if you like. So I'm very grateful for that. But what does it mean? Well, it means basically you've got two ways of looking at it. You've got, let's look at it from a Premiership point of view, because obviously I think the Italian league, personally, it's it's not going to be a problem. I think there's enough big clubs out there to carry on a Serie A without Juventus, without AC Milan, without, I think it's Inter Milan or whoever it is who's going into it. I think with your Sampdorias, with your Napolis, with your Romas and people like that, you've got big enough clubs to take their place and carry on. I think La Liga will suffer big time. They will almost become a little bit like the Scottish League, where there'll only be maybe, there'll be very little interest in it. I think it would probably be the death of it. I think the Premiership would be fine. It would hurt it a lot, and very attractive teams would be gone. And I don't want them to go. I think it's the worst thing in the world. I love a Merseyside derby. I love watching Arsenal play sometimes. I like Liverpool, the way they've played over the last few years, apart from this year. I think they play attractive football, and there's a lot of football to sit down and watch, and a lot of players that are attractive to watch. Man City's torn it up for a few years, and they've been very good to watch. So yeah, they will be missed, but I think other teams can step up and take their place. Hopefully Everton being one of them. I think Leeds are in there now. And I think Leeds are a cautionary tale. I think, many years ago, they won the league. They put a lot of big money into players, and they nearly went out of existence. And I think this Super League is kind of echoing that, because after a year of a pandemic, I think it's a lot to take, because football was one of those things that you hung on to all the way through, and for this to happen at the end of it, and also for them to name it 3 times in their statement to say why they're doing it, well, I think that's really wrong, because no one asked you to pay your players extortionate amounts of money and then you not to have crowds because of an unplanned and a pandemic that no one could help. Well, then I'm sorry, but no one asked you to pay your players so much money that you lost a lot of money over the last year. Other clubs have broken even. Other clubs have survived, and these big 6 are struggling because they're paying so much money. No one asked you to do it. You did it because you wanted to win leagues and you wanted to, be better than the rest. Well, pay the piper, I'm afraid. That's the way it is. That's the repercussions of it. But their answer is quick and easy. We'll create a league, we'll go and get lots of money for that, and then we'll be okay. And that's the owners talking. It is disgusting that they even think that that's an option. I think it is horrendous that they think that the fans would be behind this. There will be some fans behind it, because their season ticket is a Sky controller. They think if they buy a Sky subscription, then they are a season ticket holder for their club, Man City or Liverpool, whatever. And then they're not. They've never been to Man City. They don't come from Manchester. They don't, all the rest of it. They will just support the team, whatever. And it's not a life choice for them. I started supporting Everton when I was 8. I've travelled all over to watch them, and it's ridiculous, the amount of money I've spent on them over the years. And yeah, I would walk through walls for Everton. I get despondent when they lose. I get adulated when they win. And yeah, I've lived and breathed them for 40 years now. So it's something that I'm used to, and I think a lot of people will be. And I think that comes to where, what happens. So I think there's 2 choices. They want to stay in the Premiership. I don't think they can stay in the Premiership. Number one, because they're betrayal, but they can't have their cake and eat it. They can't go, well, we'll stay in the Premiership and take our money from that, and we'll go into the Super League and we'll take our money from that. That doesn't make sense to anybody. But also, put this hat on, if you will. They go into Super League and get 3 point whatever billion pounds for doing that, and then they're in the Premiership. What? How fair is that, in the fact that they're going to have so much more money to spend on players than an Everton or Aston Villa or a Leeds or anybody like that? It will turn into the top 6 will be the 6 from there, and then they will enjoy themselves by being top 6 in our league and top 6, and they'll be one of the 6 in the other league. It won't make football fair. It won't be, there won't be a Leicester winning the league. There won't be a West Ham breaking into the top 4. There won't be any of that, which we live for. We hope for that to happen as real football fans. As an Everton fan, I hope that it's not going to happen this season, but we hope that it will happen next season. To West Ham fans are probably enjoying themselves at the moment that they're where they are. Leicester fans are loving it. Leicester fans are still living off the fact that a couple of years ago they won the league. We all love that they won the league. So I even remember Blackburn winning the league, and I love that as well. So there is a lot of romance and excitement in football just for the neutral, let alone your actual fans. So they can't stay in the Premiership. They can't, and they won't be able to stay in the Cups. So they will be gone, and that will weaken the Premier League. So then it comes down to Sky and BT. Do they back the Premier League and rebrand it and hope that people like Everton and Leeds and people like that come out of the shadows and become the big 6 again, and they do that? Or do they go and back the Super League and the Premiership's left twisting in the wind as a weakened franchise? Because in the end, you've got to think a lot of 50% of the profits from the TV revenue comes from international viewers. Now, when you're watching, I don't know, the Merseyside derby, for instance, Everton Liverpool, that is a big turn on for Asian markets, international markets, American markets, etc. Where West Brom and Southampton, with all due respect, ain't going to be a massive turn on. So that would be a normal game. That would be most of the games. So it's got to be, you hope that someone like Sky, and I'm kind of hoping Sky are, because they're letting Gary Neville be a mouthpiece for them, and it would look very weird if Sky then backed the Super League after letting Neville slag off the Super League as much as he has. And the same with BT Sport. I can see Amazon maybe backing it because they're American based and not really involved in football yet. But if those two still back the Premiership and La Liga and Serie A, I can see it still thriving. And that would mean football could survive without those 6 in the Premiership, and obviously 3 from each of the other countries. First of all, I'm going to say it's a stupid idea. I think it's a stupid idea. You're going to get very bored very fast of watching those teams. I like watching Liverpool versus Real Madrid. I like watching them every 8 years, but I don't want to watch them 4 times a season. That's going to be just dull, boring. There's no special occasion there. So it is a stupid idea anyway, and it is just born out of greed. But it's gonna shake football up. Maybe for the best. There might be some things to come out of it. There might be capping of wages. There might be, relook at how contracts are done to stop things like this happening again. And good things might come out of it. But the bad thing to come out of it, I think, is mental health. And we're going to move on to that now. I think the mental health issues are going to be coming thick and fast. As I've said, I am addicted to football. I live for football. My life is revolved around football. I do a channel on football. I do a channel on FIFA. So I spend most of my time playing FIFA and talking about it and doing videos on it. I manage a football club at the weekend. a man's football club, and we got aspirations to move up the football pyramid. So I put a lot of time into that, and I support Everton and follow Bristol City, if you like, as a local team. So I spend a lot of my time and effort on football. Now, there's a lot of people who are exactly the same as me, who spend all their time, and again, a lot of money on football, going away with football, going home with football, travelling around the country, and they love football the same as I do. I love my team. I absolutely love Everton. I'm proud of them every time they step out on the pitch. I hate them every time they lose. I love them 2 minutes later when common sense kicks in. I really have loving a football club is hard to describe, and every guy and woman out there who loves their football club will know what I'm talking about. It's almost, it's a love that you cannot describe. And I can only but imagine what it's like for some of these fans of these six who feel powerless, who feel betrayed, who feel that this shouldn't be happening, that they don't want it to happen. They have been consulted. They haven't, it's out of their control. And I think there'll be a lot of mental health issues due to it. I think there'll be an awful lot of mental health issues due to it. I think there will be people who will be despondent, people who will spiral into mental health issues, because after a year of a pandemic where you've been alone and football's been a bright light at the end of it, and even though football's been a bit weird for the last year because your home form isn't your home form and you're away from it and there's been no crowds, we've kind of adapted to it and accepted it for what it was, because it was football, and we'll take it in any form we can. But I think there'll be a lot of people who will be very despondent and and spiral into depression because they won't be able to support their team, or they won't feel like they'll be able to support their team, and they won't know what to do. I've seen, and the reason I've done this video is I've seen 2 or 3 tweets, quite serious tweets, where they said, I think suicide will happen because of this, and I can see that. I don't think they're being over dramatic. I think people will feel so out of control and so betrayed that the only statement they can make is that. And I think there will be really bad things to come of this if it goes ahead, because people absolutely hang their hat on and survive by football. And if it's taken away from them as they know it, and people accept improvements, people accept changes. We've had VAR and we don't like it. We've had, the different things over the last few years, different rules on offside, and that's changes. Premiership years ago kind of made it more elite at the top 4, whatever they are, 20, but it did kill football. It didn't, it gave hope to those in the Championship to be able to step up and become elite play. People like Leeds were able to step up and become elite. Sheffield United have had their few years in the Premiership. Norwich are coming back into it again. So there is teams that can come up. There is no closed door like this format is offering, which is basically 12 teams who cannot go up or down. There's no promotion, there's no motion. It's the most boring thing I can think of, and most unpassionate thing I can think of, and it clearly is just driven by greed. That is all there is to it, and shame on any chairman or owner who thinks this is a good idea. And again, I'm really pleased to see Everton coming out and being one of the very first teams to come out with a statement this morning, basically saying they condemn it and think it's disgusting, and what they think should happen to the teams that have done this, which is basically boot them out of the league. And I'm really proud to see Everton do that, because we are known as the People's Club, and this is ultimately what it is it's showing who are the community hub, and who's taking their custodian roles seriously, and who's just trying to make a buck out of it. So yeah, the mental health ways, I think there's serious issues going to happen because of it. And what I'm going to say now is, guys, watch the actions of your friends and your family and your season ticket holder friends and your people that you are related to, and people that are heavily involved in one of the football teams, or the football, even other football teams, because that what you're going to have from now on is going to be different, and it's out of your control. And I can feel it. I can feel, we've got 3 matches happening in the next 24 hours. We had 1 match last night. You don't care, because you think, well, what's the point? It's not going to make a difference, and people will feel that, and then that will lead to, well, but what's the point? I work in a dead-end job all week. I earn money. I go to football. I love football. That's been taken away from me. What do I have left? And that will become someone's mindset, and then that will become their way of life, and then that will become a dark, horrible place to be. And yeah, I can see it happening, and all I'm asking is everybody be kind to each other out there at the moment. I love the fact that fans have rallied together so raucously and so well, and all singing from the same hymn sheet, pretty much saying we all hate the Super League, say no to the Super League, hashtag no to the Super League, and Liverpool fans going and taking their flags down, and that. I know Klopp got angry about that because it's not the football players' fault and all that, but stand up, be like Milner then. Milner did a great job last night saying it's condone it, have some balls and condone it and say it, or take your money and be honest and say, no, I like it, I'm going to get paid millions of pounds. Be honest with it, so we know where you stand, and that's all that there is to it. But on the mental health side, guys, I would say be very aware of people's mood. Be very aware of what you're saying with it. When obviously football is a very passionate conversation. I'm feeling passionate about it now. I'm feeling lost. I feel very despondent. I just want it to go away. It's out of my control. I hate it. But at the same time, I'm very proud that Everton aren't part of it. But I can't imagine being a Man United fan, a real Man United fan, or a real Arsenal fan, or a real Tottenham fan, or a real, Man City fan, or a Liverpool fan, and this being potentially the future of your club. So be kind, guys. Be aware. Offer yourself as a sounding board. Let people let off steam if they're angry about it. Sympathise with them. Don't take the mickey out of them. I would never take a mickey out of a Liverpool fan now at the moment, as much as I hate Liverpool. I would certainly not do that, because we're all in the same boat. If they hate it, I hate it, and we're all in the same boat, and we're all pushing in the same direction. So just be very aware that I think some people, you never know what happens behind closed doors, and I think some people, what they have is football and not a lot else, and that's the way we're bought. We're tribal. Our relationship with the world is sometimes tribally, intrinsically linked to football, and that's the only thing we've got. And if you take that away, what else have you got? And that's the danger. And these owners don't give a shit. They haven't thought about crap like that. They really don't, and they won't, because it's about the ka-ching, ka-ching, you know, in their pocket. So yeah, be very aware, be kind, and yeah, let's hope that this doesn't go ahead. And yeah, no to the Super League. There you go, guys. That is my thoughts. Take care of yourself as always, and if you can, find someone who can. Bye bye.